Well, I feel like I'm just going out here on a limb, just pressing record. Hi, everybody. This is Tamara, and I'm here with your November podcast, but it's video. I don't know how this happened, but it's a long story. I don't want to get into it. How are you? I'm very excited to do this podcast, and I thought I would just sort of wing it. However, I'm not going to be talking to the camera this whole time. It makes me too self-conscious. But I am going to be shuffling some cards and talking a little bit about the energies that we have this month. Mercury is retrograde. So you know what that means. It means that your mind is going backward. It's in the sign of Scorpio, which is the sign, it's a very deeply probing, very emotional sign. And it's the part of us that really wants to get to the bottom of things that are disturbing for us emotionally, things that we're tweaking about, things that we're uh, feeling uncomfortable about. And often it's with the people we're closest to. Maybe you'll have a conversation this month with someone that you care a lot about, and it kind of triggers this old pattern for you that's like, where did this come from again? You know, I talk about patterns almost every single podcast. Have you noticed that? Because, as soon as we can notice that we're cycling, we can change the cycle. We can click the switch and we can stop whatever that pattern was. But if we're just in the pattern, then we're in the movie. And a lot of the movies that we stay embedded in, a lot of our stories, we're not aware we're in the movie. We just think, oh, well, that's just, it always happens that way. Whenever we use words like always or never, you always do this to me, you never do this for me, I always end up, those are where our patterns are coming out in our words. So before we get started, I just wanted to share, because I think this is for all of you. I just walked my dog up in this really sunny place. We have a lot of snow. It's up by the airport, and we've been having a lot of grizzly sightings. And today I was driving back, and I saw this little animal crossing the street in front of me, and I thought it was a dog at first, because people walk their dogs up there, and it was a fox. It was a beautiful red fox, and it's kind of rare to see a fox. They are very foxy. They know how to hide, and they're very graceful. I watched this little fox cross the road, and I just stopped, and I wondered if maybe he didn't see me at first because my car is white and there's a lot of white snow and I was very quiet. I'm giving myself a little too much credit with that, I think. But he probably was completely aware of me and just wasn't fazed whatsoever. At one point, he had walked into this field across from the road, and he just turned, he was turned to the side, and he just turned his little face like that and looked right at me. And I got my iPhone out. I mean, how good a picture can you take with an iPhone? But I tried, because he was absolutely beautiful. His tail was going out behind him, just like a brush. It was just like a brush with something on the end, little gray on the end, but he was a beautiful red fox. And then when I got home, uh, I was looking for Ted Andrews' Animal Speak book, because I was going to read to you what the fox is all about and what the symbolism of this is. And the book hid from me. And that's part of fox energy. Fox is able to be very foxy and hide and be very playful and camouflage themselves. And it was funny, because I put on my slippers, I went outside, it's snowy, and I had to go down to the other part of my house. And I was looking down there, and I went down a couple of times, and I thought, I can't see that book anywhere. And then it was right here in my office, right on the shelf, but it was a little bit camouflaged. I couldn't quite see it. So that's a message for all of us, I figure, because today I was going to do the podcast for you, and I thought, that is a message. A wild animal crossing my path is always a message. And so the message that I got, this animal was just walking in the sun, just being exactly who he was built to be. You know, this creature was exactly just using all of his instincts and was really gorgeous and wasn't really fazed by the artificiality in his environment, which I think I was part of that because I was sitting there in my car looking at him through an iPhone. And he just went about his business, his natural business. And he allowed himself to be seen, but he wasn't self-conscious about it. So think about how that might relate to your life right now, or just, you know, anything you've been thinking about, anything you've been going through, because I love to gather these messages and draw them forward. So this may be a time when you'll look at camouflage and its necessity, or as an invention or something that's helpful to you in your life, how you camouflage, how you don't, how you shapeshift a little bit so people can see you, they can't see you, now you see me, now you don't, now, and how you can be in your natural energy this month. Scorpio doesn't fool around. It likes to really get to the heart of things and the truth. You know, Scorpio, if they don't trust you, they will never trust you. It's like, and the part of us, each of us has Scorpio in our chart somewhere. And that's the little pie slice of your chart that you are pretty uncompromising with. Like, you have a really laser beam understanding of trust in that area. And if somebody betrays that trust, you know, that's it. So there's a little bit of black and white thinking this month as we get some I think Mars is also coming into Scorpio, and that'll actually give our ability to act some energy, because Mars likes to be in Scorpio. It likes to get focused and just, it's like I'm losing my words. It's like a scalpel, and it likes to carve away and get down in there and cut out what doesn't belong, or carve a statue, carving something. So we'll all be carving something this month. We'll be working on something that we're trying to reveal. So we're gonna draw the cards here, and maybe I'll just keep the video rolling. I was gonna not do that, but I'm following the fox energy and being spontaneous. Down there. Okay. So I always draw cards for us. Aha. Okay. 9 of coins. Typically this card is a lady in a garden, and the garden is flourishing. So where in your life have you worked alone and not been upset that you were alone, and allowed your garden to flourish? Allowed yourself to have like material manifestations of your worth and of your power to create. That's where this card comes in. I don't think the video camera on this computer is as good as the old one, but can you see? There she is. She's holding like one of her jewels. So this is a promise. This card is a promise that this month something of that you will become aware of like the value in your world, the things you've created. Sometimes I say it's so wonderful to look around in your world. Like if you're having an insecure moment, look around at everything that you've created that's physical in your environment and say, I did that. Like I pulled that in, I chose that. Or, you know, I chose the person who chose that, you know? So you want to really feel your power this month materially, and notice the manifestations of your world, because it'll be showing up like a garden. It'll be showing up like fruit to be picked. Options. Ooh, the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, this is the last month that Jupiter is in Sagittarius, its natural placement, for 12 years. So we've had Jupiter all year long, and I think Jupiter goes direct this month too. So the Wheel of Fortune is a card of cycles. It's a card of understanding that we cycle and everything around us cycles. You know, sometimes if you go and you talk to somebody at a business and you don't have a great conversation, it's helpful to remember that not only do you have your good days and your bad days, but so does that person and everyone else besides. And this is a card typically that wherever you are, especially if the cycle's been low for you, it's going to come back up. Look at that. So this is a very lucky card. It's a card of opportunity. It's also a card of noticing that everything cycles and that you also can turn the wheel. And sometimes one turn of the wheel, one new direction, one step in the next place you want to go will bring you into a place of possibility. So this month, you might want to ask, what else is possible? Say there's an area of your life where you're like, this isn't quite what I was looking for, and it hasn't been what I wanted for a while. What else is possible here? And just drop that question into the space. Those of you who work with me one-on-one know that when you drop that question into the space, it opens up that place in the universe where something else is possible. So remember that there is some possibility coming up this month in November. You also might want to look at where you have Jupiter in your chart, because that place will be lighting up for you this month. I like that, lighting up. Okay, another card. Oh my goodness, you can't make this stuff up. The Magician. Wow, this is a very interesting series because we have an earthly card. We've got the Queen in the Garden. We've got the part of us that is the Empress, right? That is that abundant person who has made peace with who they are, and they don't have the artifice. You know, they're the fox out hunting. They have an area of expertise. You have an area of expertise. And it's time for you to, take note of where you're abundant and what you've already created and how great you are, basically. So here she is. Then we notice that not only when you notice that, opportunity knocks. And also Jupiter's going direct. So how's Jupiter activating inside of you and creating the sense of what else is possible? Really use that question this month. The Magician is the part of us who that has the skills to actually create that thing, create that new vision. This is a creation card. So if you just want to pay attention to how you are using your sacral energy, for example, and how you are creating and what are you creating, and know that there's a lot of powerful creative energy coming through you this month. You know what? I'm really getting the impression that, yes, Mercury is retrograde. In fact, some of the things we may be dealing with are really putting to an absolute close the places that have felt very wounded to us emotionally, and getting to the bottom of, I really want to, examine this photograph of myself. What is this thing that gets to me, this thing that I think can never heal? It's almost like the Chiron idea. And really deciding to inhabit the more powerful space of yourself. We each have all these different parts to us. We have a wounded self. They're like little characters. We have ancestor parts to us and places where our ancestors are speaking through us. We have the part of us that feels like she is winning, or she is even winning over old patterns. There's the part that feels connected to God and feels connected to the divine and feels like we belong. Then there's a part that doesn't feel like it belongs. You see, these are all just parts of ourselves. I cannot believe this card that I drew. This is an unbelievable reading. The Nine of Cups, the Wish card. The way that we can have a dream come real for us is by letting go of any power in the emotional attachment that's in the part of us that feels like we'll never get it. Does that make sense? So sometimes we're so invested in a story where we are a victim that we really feel like, I'm going to cling to this until the last day of my life. And it's a choice. When I look at these 4 cards together, we are creators of our existence in so many ways. We are creators of what comes our way. We mold it and shape it with the magician. We take opportunity and we mold it. And we create the very best that we can have when we're willing to see that there's a choice between the not having of it and the having of it. And so what I would say with these is, and I'm being guided to tell you just one thing. So if there's one thing that you would like to have this month, go into the energy of already having it. And maybe not scatter yourself. Scorpio energy doesn't like this. It's not a scattered energy. And the Jupiter energy is big in Sagittarius. It likes to expand things and will make things bigger. But Scorpio doesn't want anything fake, doesn't want anything that's maybe not true or made up or something that somebody else created, a story. It's like somebody else writing you into their story and saying, I think this is you. And you saying, you know what, that's beautiful, but it's not my story. That is not my script right now. Because I feel like there's a promise in these cards. Even I'm surprised. I mean, month after month, I've been doing these podcasts, and typically we get the 8 of Swords, cards of constriction, letting go of wounding. We've been talking about that for a long time, and this is an amazing set of cards. And so as whoever watches this is allowing me to channel this and at least be a conduit to a message for you. That's a general message, of course. If you want a much more personal reading, I always put my contact information below, and you can contact me and get a very personal, detailed reading if you want. But for these, this is for the collective, and it's for the collective of people who would be attracted to watching what I do here. So this, if you're watching this, this is for you. So let me see if there's anything else we need. Well, I'll tell you that what I'm getting is that there are some little mental battles that are going on for people this month. They're like this recirculation. It's almost like an anxiety thing, like just remembering, these struggles that you're having, these, just, they're like little skirmishes in your head. So, and that this is a time to really reach beyond that. This is such a hard thing to talk about, but to really be in a place of non-duality. What does that mean? There's somebody you're fighting with. There is no other. That's really what non-duality means. It just means that you're fighting with another aspect of yourself through this other person or this group or this political mindset. It's just one being split into many bodies. And if you, in this body of yours, have a dream that you have not yet realized, that you are feeling excited about, but you haven't yet looked around you to see how you could actually deserve this dream and go for it, because look at everything else that you've created and how worthy you are, you won't see the new opportunities, and you want to see those opportunities so you can mold them like the magician that you are, which takes a lot of focus. And you can't be putting your focus on things that are not what you want in order to bring forward this part of you that you want. And you have a wish that wants to come true if you will sit in the energy of that wish as if you already own it or have it. I like to say have it. So that is the reading for November. I never know what's going to come up. And this is not a very formal look, but you know, I think part of the fox medicine is, hey, let's show up as we really are, authentically, and not, you know, with a mask. Because that fox was so beautiful. I wish that I could, maybe I can, I'll have to share that on social media somewhere. So that is the energy. Just remember that if something gets tangled up communication wise, it means you may be trying to rush it or you're not focused. The only reason to have a Mercury retrograde is to slow us down so that we can relax and focus and actually be present. Because Scorpio likes to be present. It likes to, it's laser sharp. It's just, it's like, it's right there. So that's the reading for this month. The one other thing I would just want to say about Scorpio energy, this is just coming to me, is that it can sting sometimes. It has a stinger. And there may be some things that you're looking at from your past that are emotional wounds that contain a poison that needs to be released. And that's something that you can actually get a healing on. You can do the healing yourself if you want, but you want to notice anything poisonous, poisonous thoughts, poisonous memories, poisonous interactions, memories of those interactions, patterns, and really once and for all, let them heal, because that's what is in store for us, is transformation during Scorpio season. And it's that time when the light goes low, and like it or not, we have to go inward at this time. It's the only way to go. We're not being called out. Nature doesn't want us out there necessarily dancing the night away. It's a more introspective time, and that's okay. So that's the reading. I'd love to hear from you. Write me back if you have any questions, or if you're seeing this on YouTube, I'd love it if you liked the video and shared it. That always makes my day. Or leave a comment and tell me how the Scorpio energy feels to you. Okay, everybody. See you next month. Bye.